right, third time is the charm, hopefully, as we are once again seeing Volga on the Xenomorph, immediately taking that tunnel, trying to find some Misery survivors, crawling up into the main building, just like we had last game, and now seeing two survivors on the Killer Instinct, taking chase onto Abby here, who looks like she does not have anywhere to go. She does have a hill, but no pallets, and yeah, almost certainly has balance landing. Gonna take that to main building, but does take the tag before she can get the balance speed boost, so she's gonna be zooming off to main building, trying to run that. We are seeing this as a very popular place to be chasing the Xenomorph, but unfortunately for Abby, she does not get the good window this game like she's had in the previous two. We do instead have a seawall, which it looks like she might be able to drop in time, but she will have to greet it, as now the chase is gonna come around this.
Yeah, she's about to take the score just before she went around the corner, but the range on Xenomorph is going to be enough. Now, if that is sprint burst on our Renata player, he could get for the pallet save, and he does just in time. The blind for extra BM, and Abby is going to sprint away. So our worst possible start for Volga. Third time was not the charm for him, but it was for our survivors who have got that replacement applied to forehead instead of applied to forehead has been fantastic the previous days. But Abby not making the most out of that pallet save. Does crawl towards the flamethrower, but I guess hit straight away. Every Adam doing a little bit of work there. Renato lurking for a flash-up save, and we've got two other survivors who just completed the generator.
Yeah, unlucky for Abby. I think she's looking behind her, and she got
flashlight.
Oof. No, not quite in time.
He missed
Not
it!
quite in time. Yeah, unfortunate. We are seeing the survivors coming through with some good teamwork. We did see two of them doubling that gen to make sure they got that gen pop before the first down comes in, which seems to be an indicator the survivors in these matches are expecting Xenomorph to get some good first chases. As now chase going on to Renato, who is leading the Xenomorph away from this area of the map where we've been seeing some very tight 3 gens in the past, and looks like Misery is hoping to avoid that.
Great stun from Ducky, but I'm still not going to give them that much leeway because I don't understand how you can miss a flashlight after the, I think it was 6.3.0 update to Dead by Daylight, where they made them very, very easy to save. He just ran in front of the Xenomorph and missed the timing. That was very, very weird. Eventually goes down to the pallet after a nice pallet stun, and they've got the reset. So a pretty good start for the survivors after a pallet save. Onto Xenomorph. It's taken a while to get his first 2 downs, but now that he has, he should be looking to take some more control.
Yeah, and as this hook comes in, we're seeing that after that initial gen pop, the survivors were focused on coordinating their teamwork, getting the unhook, getting the heal, going for those saves, and so we did see Feng working on the main building gen, but the other 2 survivors were getting into position, so there's not a whole lot of gen progress currently active, and because Feng is working the main building generator, the survivors are going to have to steer clear of that resource to play, as now the chase is going back onto Abby, and she has to run into a direction where the chase was going before, and hope that this one goes a little bit better for her than the last one did.
Yeah, she wants to make better work of this, but she's taking interesting pathing, and if there's any more Brexit, she could be in trouble, or she's going to make it to this L, but it's going to be very, very close. If he can get the whip out, he's going to lunge, and he gets it down onto Abby, who is just 1 stage away from death now. She's going to go up into a 2nd stage. No Renato this time to save with the pallet save, or not save if he chooses to use the flashlight. Sorry, Ducky, I'm going to keep reminding you of that one. He gets a heal and sprint burst away, and then need to start piling on some gems because Abby is on 2nd stage.
And it's really unfortunate for Misery that Abby is the survivor that's getting this, the tunnel coming in on her. And if you look at her build, she's the one that's got Will Make It, she's the one that's got 40 people. This is the survivor that we want to be going for those unhooks, going for the heals, and, potentially sacrificing her own health state to prevent someone else from being tunneled, but there's no protection for her while this is happening, as now Volga can just come back to this hook and try to secure the kill onto her, as there's not enough pressure elsewhere, and he does have Noah in his back pocket.
Yeah, and as soon as it's safe, I'm sure they're going to go for a trade here onto Abby, unless they decide just to leave on the hook and try and get 2 gens done for it. But a 3 survivors up with 2 gens to go against the Xenomorph, it's going to be a really tricky spot. If you're looking to get your 5 gen win condition, they get 1, and I think they might just be leaving Abby on the hook, knowing that Volga will go for the instant tunnel out and don't want to give any more health states. Yeah, they're going to party up. Oh, Renato comes in. Ducky, the savior of the day, gets the save in. He's going to go down for it, and now Abby's got to run for the hills.
And that is the smart way to play the situation out. You can if you know the Xenomorph is stamping Abby, you can let her hang on hook until the last second, send your survivor with sprint burst in to do that 1-for-1. And the one unfortunate part of this is I believe that would have been another pain resonance stack, so that will slow things down, and now Abby has to fight for her life to get away from this, and if nothing else, hopefully secure some time for her teammates to get Ducky off the hook, as Ducky is also on death hook.
Yeah, but she loses the 50-50 on that Volt there. Well, it's not even a 50-50. Xenomorph can react to the Volt sound. Abby goes down straight away, uses Shack Pallet as well, and probably not the time the team were looking for. Ducky goes to second stage as well on it. They're going to have to spend time healing him because they cannot afford to lose another survivor at this stage. They get their third gen done with 3 survivors up. This is looking really rough, and I'm sure they're just going to be playing to try and get one more gen done.
This is a playable situation. They do at least have their resets coming in. It's imperative for Ducky to stay hidden as much as he can because, yeah, one more survivor getting taken out of the game would be rough. But fortunately for them, there's not as much pressure, I think, coming in from here than there could be. They can definitely play to pop the gens, I think, and maybe not get out once the Noed comes in, but I think the survivors are in it. Not ideal to be in a 1v3, but, you know, if you're going to be in a 1v3, this is where you want to be. They did get their gen progress, they did get their resets. This is, you know, they're chilling at least a little bit.
Yeah, no, you're right. It was very important they got that third gen done, and life from Ace is going to give him a little bit more distance. Applied to forehead, a very worthy substitute. We saw them yesterday doing amazing plays as survivor and as killer as well. He switches targets now, actually, onto Jukebox. He's going to be playing around the trees, but with a circle-like tile, it's going to be difficult for Volga under the power, especially with a high rock. He tries to get it over, tries to get the dip and duck, can't quite get it onto Jukebox, who is just holding it very well, refusing to drop the pallet. Now doesn't quite get the stun. Great patience for Xenomorph to realise that she was going to go for it at that point. Quick and quiet, I'm sure she's still going to know where she is, and Scavenger as well is going to be.
And as we've seen in the past, Volga absolutely knows how to hit tail hits over that truck. This could be a very dangerous hop for Jukebox, but Jukebox reading these tail hits perfectly after playing the rock, which again, you can't really hit over that. So Jukebox doing an excellent job of buying time for her team here, as Volga should be able to eventually get the hit here. Whiffs the tail hit, but is Volga not gonna commit to breaking the pallet, as now we're back at this rock loop, but it looks like Volga has had to just leave this chase.
I think you might have got a little bit lost. Maybe Scavenger and Quick and Quiet did wonders there for Jukebox. This has been a fantastic chase. Not only did she do amazing round the filler pallets, but Volga actually lost her. Jukebox now back to the filler pallet, where she won every single mind game, trying to win another one, but I think the Xenomorph has just got a bit too much distance. She's going to fake it again, but Xenomorph reacts just in time. Ace is nearby, but he's going to go straight for the gen. This is a fantastic spot. If you'd offered these survivors when there were just 3 people left to get the next 2 gens done, they would have happily taken it, and they've only lost 1 hook stage for it. They're now going to be looking to get a survivor out the door. Amazing turnaround for Team Misery.
And here we are seeing Volga going on the prowl to try and get, you know, either a kill onto the ace or another fresh hook a fresh hook onto the ace over a kill onto Ducky. And we are going to see the fresh hook onto ace, and this is the value of Noed. This ace has not been hooked all game, and this possibly a full 3 hook stages out of this, especially if there's a hook by the door so they can't open it and get the ace out. The survivors will just be forced to leave ace behind.
Yeah, I think they're gonna. I think Volga's gonna cut his losses and possibly camp this one. I can never see the survivors going in to save here. They're gonna open the door and get out of here. But 9 stages after Abby went down so quickly is massive. But I'm gonna be forced to eat my words because Apply to Forehead has gone in for the save, denying the instant 9 stages. They've spotted where Noed is, but that's not gonna make a difference. Ducky now needs to run for his life. Just 1 stage left on Ducky, so it's much better for him to go down than for Apply to Forehead to lose those stages. We can see that as Volga switches targets and goes straight for Apply to Forehead.
Yeah, as it's worth to go for, as long as, because they were able to pull ace off before he went to second, then this is potentially an extra stage to save. Yeah, they could go for hatch here, but Ducky was on the other side of the map from the door that's open, so this ace is gonna have to buy some time around Shack before his teammate can get out.
Yeah, they're going to have to time this to absolute perfection. And when Duck is going to get there, the Noed going down means the speed is lost. And if they reset, they might be tempted to go in and still try to save Apply to Forehead. Maybe they're going to cut their losses because I think basement might just be inside Shack. I'm not sure on the conditions. And yes, it is. Okay, I think they're going to say, okay, we had a good crack at it. It was a really good effort from the survivor teams. But I think they're going to secure 9 stages, and that will be that.
Yeah, because there's only 1 hook stage left on the ace, it's only worth to go for that save if you think you can get the save without trading anyone for it. So they're probably just going to leave ace to die on the hook and take their outs, and that appears to be what Ducky is going for here. Yeah, Volga just sitting in the door, we're like, no, you are not going to get your buddy out.
Yeah, never letting him in there, and he's gonna make sure they do indeed leave. I was about to just hold it just to see if Jukebox maybe was lurking in for a basic save, but no, they take the they give Volga the 9 stages. But that's a fantastic result, given the fact that Abby went out so early and probably wasn't to Misery's plan. They almost got 3 players out, and to get 2 players out is a fantastic result. It's 5 gens for Misery, 9 stages for Eonix, and now it is Misery's turn on Xenomorph. We'll be right back with a break to see if they can pull this one back. Nine stages with 4 fresh hooks is all Volga was able to achieve after such a strong early game, and you could argue that Misery got off light, getting 5 generators done and 2 survivors out. But that is all in the past. We've got to put that behind us. As Ducky, it is his turn. If he can secure 10 stages or more, he will win it for Team Misery.
And it's interesting, it's hard to tell if Ducky was trying to break into the ace or just wrap around this way. It looks like he's more interested in what's happening on that generator behind him as the Shack Pilot goes down. Probably content to break chase here with the ace, and yes, we are seeing a gen kicking build coming in with the eruption and the pop to supplement that chain resonance. So Ducky going for a game plan that'll involve stalling out those last 3 or 4 generators and preventing the game from going into endgame, as we saw last game. As now back onto main building, we do have the good window. Ducky's not going to break it and instead follow the scratch marks of the survivor that was working on the generator at main.
Yeah, I definitely think it's the right play with his win condition. It's a pretty healthy one to sit back on. You need to get 10 stages, which on most killers is almost quite tough, but at Xenomorph we're talking about pretty strong killer with those perks as well. He should be managing and should be aiming for 10 stages comfortably here. But we'll see how he has to play because he's got to hit all his shots. He's going around the map now and finding a bit more pressure and not going for the aggressive start that we saw out of Volga.
The flamethrower does buy the survivors a little bit of time, but as we see, Xenomorph can just crawl back into the tunnels and get the power back almost immediately, as the chase is going to resume onto the Ada here, and Ada's should not be trifled with, as she's going to wrap around that the L wall here. This mind game on this tile is a little bit rough for Survivor to play because Xenomorph can just hit you through the windows as you come on the corner. And Ada is going to take the M1 as she has no pallet to play here. She's going to run off into this tile as we see the main building generator about to pop and another one at about a third. Turret here doing a little bit to help keep Ada safe as the turret goes down, but it will only buy Ada a little bit of time.
Yeah, and he's still in runner mode, unable to snap out Xenomorph. He gets the turret down in time, which gives Ada a little bit of the time, but I'm not sure enough. Oh, actually, she's got quite good distance to that short wall. She decides to double back. Is the Xenomorph playing a mind game? No, he's not. He committed all the way through the loop. She's going to see him there through that crack. Still got the pallet up. Oh, but gets hit from out of nowhere. A sudden Ducky appears on your screen, and he's going to take you all the way to the hook.
There's an underrated aspect of the Xenomorph here where when you're in runner mode, you're so short visually that normally a survivor can tilt their camera down and look over the auto pavement tile walls, but you can't actually see Xenomorph that way. And at the same time, you can also sometimes see the killer through little holes in the wall, but Xenomorph's default skin here matches the same color as that, so it's actually so difficult to see Xenomorph as he's doing the mind game around that tile, and it paid off for Ducky big time here.
Yeah, when the Xenomorph's not revealing their red stain to you, the track through the walls. I was curious why we didn't see Kenny just kind of stop for a little bit to try and like hold that position through the wall, but I guess they're afraid of the tail tag, and they know it's to see. So they gambled on going straight for the pallet, but they paid the price for it. They're going to be up on their hook. But these survivors have got 1 gen done. But I can't help thinking that is Ducky's kind of game plan. We saw him going for a slower approach to this game, just starting out by kicking some gens, keeping that corrupt up for quite a long time, and eventually gets his hook. And now looking for a second survivor, who he does find. Panic whiffs with his tail as he was getting flamethrowed, heads out of there, and is going to go straight back towards the hook and try and secure second stage.
And crucially for the survivor team here, it appears that the side of the map where Ducky has the best 3-gen, we see huge generator progress on that yellow gen in the distance that has eruption on it. And there's, 2, maybe 3 others that are kind of loosely in the area. One of them just popped in the distance, and Adam is so close to popping this one too. And although Koenigsegg has hit second stage, the survivors have gotten so much generator progress that even if this hit comes in last second and the survivors get the pull, a quick tunnel out onto Koenigsegg is not going to get Ducky as much pressure as he would like, and there's no endgame perks to bail him out here, so survivors splitting the map actually extremely well to avoid getting, brought into this rough endgame scenario.
Yeah, we've got to reiterate that once Eonix complete 5 generators, meet that first win condition, they just need to prevent Ducky from getting more than 10 stages, and they will have won it. So a tunnel out onto Kenny, you're right, is not going to be enough. They're going to go straight back onto this gen, and Ducky needs to start getting some downs now. I think we're going to get the confirmed kill onto them. Ace goes straight in, but no, with grabs being taken out of the game, he cannot secure this. Kenny gets off the hook at a crucial stage. They've got 10 seconds of BT. The tunnel out isn't going to come fast enough. There is just 1 generator left, and we can see Adam heading straight for it. Kenny now playing around this window, which has not had the broken door. You mentioned earlier, it's very difficult that one to play as Xenomorph, and I think he's heading back to get his pickup, but the heal is coming in, and things are getting from bad to worse for Ducky.
Ada will die here for sure, but she's essentially accepted her fate, and she's finding the furthest corner of the map to go die in, so that the survivors can get the reset off, and, you know, basically they're allowing Ada's chase here to be extra time compared to what she would have gotten on Hook. As the survivors are going to reset in the distance and get that generator pressure, they should be able to at least get the heals off, not pop a gen for this, as Ada will die, but it looks like Ducky is going to have to try to go for a slug into a snowball here, accepting that if I hook Ada here, I'm just not going to have enough pressure to win the game.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think it's looking just a little bit over for Ducky. I can't really see a way he wins this back unless he snowballs. And I want to comment on the performance we saw yesterday from Ducky, where his M2 and his chase kind of like mindset and his M1 just kind of fundamentals were really, really strong, and that's what won him a lot playing this Pyramid Head. But when it went on to Dredge, and it came down to playing these kind of 3 gen situations and these longer game plans, he crumbled a little bit. So he could get a snowball here if he plays well, but the long-term game plan is not working out for Ducky. Like we saw earlier, he gets the hook on. Pain Res isn't going to do much, especially if the gen pops just before. That's the final gen done, and he needs an absolute miracle to win this.
Yeah, we see the idea of saying, well, you know what, if I get a hook onto a different survivor, maybe that pain resonance will help get just enough stalling power to prevent the last gen from popping, but unfortunately the hook coming in just after the last gen pops, and on top of that, these gates are pretty split. Survivors can just open both of them at the same time, and whichever one Ducky commits to, the other survivors, 2 survivors will get out on the other gate, and that will guarantee that they win the game, even if they just leave Ace to die on hook here. Even if the survivor opening the other gate dies as well, they will have a win off of that.
Yeah, Ducky's not going to get 6 stages from 1 survivor, and I think they're just healing at the exit gates there. There's no reason at all for them to stay in. They have won the game. They can get all 3 survivors out. There you go. They exit through the door, and that is going to be a pretty convincing win for Eonix, who take the first set over Misery.
Yeah, really clean play from the survivors. We weren't seeing a whole lot of the, you know, attempts at team play with the flamethrowers, with the flashlight saves that we were seeing in the previous game, but instead the survivors leaning onto individually solid chases, individually solid, you know, pathing, and just knowing exactly where to be and what to do, and it pays off big time for them. So now the survivors of the Eonix are going to be looking really good, really confident going into the next match, which should be that Singularity game. And I believe it is most likely going to be Jukebox playing that instead of Ducky. So, you know, a good break for Ducky going into the rest of the set.
Yeah, I think they're going to need that, but we can talk about that once the next set gets underway. We won't take up any more of your time while gameplay is not happening, so we're going to head to a quick break, and we can discuss what is coming up once we're back with the Singularity set. It's going to be Misery on Singularity to try and claw a set back.
Welcome back to set 2 of this match. We are seeing Jukebox on the Singularity, setting those cameras up, trying to get eyes on the Eonix survivors, as we have so many good vantage points for these cameras, and we've seen Jukebox definitely putting up some excellent Singularity performances in the past, and now that we have a couple of those cameras set up, we're going to be checking them real quick, not seeing anything on them, going back to patrolling manually, and I'm so pumped for what the Singularity game has to hold.
Yeah, we're seeing those camera setups being super important. I can't understate how big that was. Jukebox making sure he's put them in the perfect spot. It really comes down to it. You don't want to be having to rearrange them throughout the game. So you need to get them spawned at the start of the trial, and the slipstream straight onto Arushu. He's got a difficult time now with Jukebox in full force, but the pallet goes down without it being insta-broke, and he manages to make it to this little filler. Yes, okay, it's not safe, but it's extra time for Jukebox. The pallet comes down, gets a little stun out of it, which means it can get some distance away from the tile. They're going to be heading up towards the stairs. He's trying to get the slipstream back onto Arushi, and if he can find the shot, he can. He gets through it, which means he's got a little bit of extra bolt speed. He's going to try and chase Arushi through the main building.
Crucially, Arushi made it to main before the down could come in, so this will take a lot of time. Yes, the slipstream is a very strong chase ability, but it's still a little rough to chase in main. I'm about to cast a curse Arushi here. I'm sorry for that, as Arushi has a very poor palette to play, and he's gonna have to, milk it for as much as it's worth. And stun!
He gets the reverse pallet start onto Jukebox. This is just time you don't want to be losing around these little filler pallets at the edge of the map. The Firecracker comes in to buy a little bit more time, but he goes down right in the corner of the map. A fantastic burst chase from Arushi, making great use of two very weak filler pallets, and the gens are going to be pouring in. Punchkeeper's got his one towards 80%, and you can see the other survivors are split up. So a great start for Team Eonix.
And the really important question is Ace going to be able to pop that Gallows gen? Did the Pain Resonance come in? Because that's a crucial gen to pop, and we see survivors split 3 on different gens, as it looks like this street gen was going to be interrupted now in the camera, and being out in the open on the street here is so easy to take that tag, but Adam has a sprint burst, going to get out of there real quick. We do see another gen popping distance, and it appears that Pain Resonance most likely did apply to this Gallows gen, but it looks like he's going to dip from this gen, not willing to commit to it, as I guess the Pain Resonance is giving value, and now we're going to see an eruption placed onto this generator. This is such an important one for Jukebox to try and hold, and now I'm going to go check on that unhook to see if anyone has gone for them.
Yeah, catching the timing here on the unhook, and he should actually be able to do some good damage onto the Adam, who's coming in for the save. But Arushi going to be making use of the natural BT you get off the hook. 10 seconds, not needed, because Swatter gets hit instantly. Taking it now towards almost a 4-lane wall. It's Deadlock Saloon, I don't want to call it exactly a 4-lane wall. But Arushi, they can play these small filler pallets pretty well, but the slipstream breaks it straight away. They've got one more here to work with, and Swatter as well to take the hit if need be. No, Kenny comes in at the right time, and 2 gens get popped for it. Jukebox could not find the down quick enough to apply his eruption to the kick gens, and things are getting a little bit dire now for Team Misery.
And now Nia has Shaq to play, so the hit's coming in for her teammates just enough to delay the chase so she can get where she needs to be. Now the chase is going on to Ace, but Jukebox is definitely going to have to look for the Nia here with the with those gens popping in the distance. The fact that Nia has to get tunneled out here. Getting another Pain Res is just not going to give as much value as you'd like, but it looks like Arushi has managed to escape death for the time being, as now Huntskeeper is, I don't know, is Jukebox going to commit? No, Jukebox wants to go on Nia, but she finds the Adam instead. Adam is going to run off into the middle of nowhere, but this will buy as much time as he can, as ideally the survivors are going to either get one gem popping or trying to get that reset onto Nia, as we do see the main building generator being worked on, but there's no eruption on that, so this Pain Resonance is all that Jukebox is going to have to try to interrupt this gen.
Jukebox needs to start finding these downs quicker. I mean, this is Misery's tournament life on the line. If they have a bad game here and Eonix does mediocre on Killer, that's it. That's a 2-0 victory for Eonix, and Misery will be plummeting out of this competition. A strong team could be sent home early. Jukebox needs to find something big. Swatter on his first stage, 2 gens to go, but those first few gens popped a while ago, so there should be some decent progress on them. They've got the main building one high up top, difficult for Jukebox to get to unless he's going to slipstream himself all the way up there.
Yeah, we're seeing on full display here just how effective the cameras on this map can be for Singularity, as look at that. Main building can be so rough to play for Killer, but the Singularity able to just port there immediately with the camera placement right across the street from it, as now Lori is not long for this world, as she's not going to be able to make it to anything from here. Mid-air dunk goes onto her, and that will be a Pain Resonance hook coming out for her as well, so although the tunnel did not come onto Nia, now with 2 quick downs onto different survivors, Jukebox is going to be able to get the Pain Resonance value out of her perks, as now Adam is in the line of fire here, and that is the 4th Pain Resonance available.
Yeah, it's his last one, but I can't help it, feel that Laurie's chase should have just been maybe a little bit longer. I'm surprised they didn't go for the fast spot round main. She can get great use out of the balance band in the end. Got a little bit of extra time, but I think they would have wanted a bit more from the survivor side. So now Swatter's going to step up for his team. The swing comes in, he gets stunned, but the pallet breaks instantly. He barely makes any distance, and is going to be playing this one again with the Singularity slipstream.
This is the last portion of the map where the survivors have resources you know, you do still have some pallets and some good windows in these tiles off to the side, and Adam's going to play those, as this will buy time for his teammates to try and pop that main building gen. Pop gen's behind, should be one more behind Gallus. Yeah, we do see one over there, and those should be the gen survivors to go for, but instead we have a reset going off, so the down is going to come on to Swatter, Swatter already has his pain resonance used up, I believe, so this could be worse for the survivors, as there is a decently progressed gen here that's going to be interrupted by the hook.
Yeah, but remember, they've got that main building generator as well. I'm not sure that's going to be too concerned about squeezing out those last gens. I think they've got a pretty good grip in this game. They just don't want to give away too many hook stages for it, right? They want to give their killer the best possible chance of ripping this over 2-1. If they somehow lose this after a fantastic start on Survivor, it's going to be difficult going into a Nemesis. Like we discussed in the pre-game campfire chat, it can be really hit or miss a Nemesis. You can easily be upset and have things go against you against the run of play. So they're going to want to close this one out and not give away too many hook stages. Jukebox now slipstream straight onto Laurie, who again isn't able to make good use of balance landing, gets hit straight away. He's going to go for another slipstream. This time she does go for the fast bolt and hits it through the window, but he gets a superior bolt coming in through, and Laurie doesn't have this pallet to work with anymore. She's going to go down once again, and now the downs are coming into Jukebox. Now he's stepping up for Team Misery.
And we're seeing how fluid the Singularity gameplay is for Jukebox. You'll recall that in that first round of games, we had teams that were actually able to do a pick ban, and this was the killer that Misery picked for their set in that first round, and we're seeing why. This is a killer that they're very comfortable playing with, and the results are coming in as we'd expect. One of the things that we're seeing here on this map for the Singularity, the camera that's pointing at the main building generator is across the street. Normally, if you have an EMP on hand, you can hold off on using it until you get slipstreamed by a camera, so you cleanse the slipstream of yourself, and you break the camera. But because the camera is on the opposite side of the street, you can't actually do that. You have to have someone EMPing the camera from underneath it, and you're just not able to do that from so far away. But even as these last gens pop, the survivors are doing everything they can, but there should be 2 survivors that are on death hook, and it's crucial for these survivors to not be the ones that are caught out here, especially Swatter, who is the most likely target for the tunnel out here, as the gens are almost certainly going down.
He is the most likely target if Jukebox can get it quickly, but Sprint Bus gives Adam just a little bit of distance. He ends up actually taking a staggered duration off that with no pallet to work with. It's not going to amount to too much. The eruption comes in the nick of time. That is massive, and I wonder if he wants to get the kill or if he wants to go and find a fresh hook on a new survivor and just get another 3 stages added to make it 8 in total. Difficult for Jukebox, like you were saying, the camera placement has been really, really good. But unfortunately, with a not so great start with Arushi taking a fantastic early chase, he's been an uphill battle this whole time, and the main generator gets popped as he goes to kick that other one. He's got his timings all wrong here. Swatter doesn't get hooked in the end. The main gen gets popped, and he's going to lose a hook stake for that, I think.
Yeah, now the ideal scenario is to try and catch out a survivor who's worth more than 1 hook stage, which would be the Ace or the Laurie, I believe, both of which have 2 hook stages left. Actually, the Ace would be ideal if Ace is fresh.
Yeah, Ace is going to be 3 hook stages, but we'll get him up to 8. And I'm really, really surprised he didn't pick Swamp in the end. With the main gen building being so high progressed, and the other one, it felt like he was never going to keep the gens. I thought he would get that free extra stage onto Swatter, get an extra hook placement, and then go for Ace. But it's not worked out like that. He's got Laurie straight away, and how far is that next exit gate? They've got to keep Ace safe.
Yeah, so Laurie buying enough time with dying in the corner opposite of the gate is enough to secure the remaining survivors the ability to get out. We do see the camera being active, but it will not be enough to stop these survivors from taking the outs. So that should be a 1k6.
It is, and I can't help but feel I hate, bad talk these players because they are definitely way better than me, but I feel like leaving Adam slugged on the floor like that was just maybe a mistake. It could have been a free extra hook stake, and then he goes after a more valuable survivor, but instead he got caught between 2 mines trying to protect the generators that were just inevitably going to pop, and he only gets the single stage onto Laurie. But that is all for Team Misery's killer for now. We're going to head on to Eonix's killer after the break. If he can secure more than 6 stages, then they will be through to the next round of the losers bracket, and Misery will be out. We'll be right back after the break. Volga, it is your time to shine once again. It's Team Eonix on Killer against the survivors of Misery, who are going to be running for their lives. This could be their very last game in the All Hallows League. They need to take this to a tiebreak in order to have a chance on Nemesis or progressing further in this bracket. But if Volga gets 7 stages or more, he will have won it for Eonix, and Misery will be out. My question to you, Cole, is it likely that the survivors of Misery are going to prevent the 6 stages?
Well, we know from the comfort that Jukebox has on Singularity that these survivors have certainly gotten a lot of practice against it internally. But one thing we're seeing Volga doing differently is not taking as much time to set up cameras. Volga has set up 3 cameras around this main building, but that's in the area where he knows his chases are going to start. We saw in the previous game, the Singularity, taking time to set up cameras all over the map, and Volga going for a little bit of a high pressure playstyle here, trying to get a much quicker first down. But that will also mean that if this is not coming in, you'll have a little bit less map pressure going into the game, as Jukebox dodges on that first hit, and now Chase is going to go onto a survivor on the top of the main. But actually using the cameras to try and get more attack, but the survivors are doing a very good job at hiding themselves from the line of sight on the cameras.
Yeah, you're right, and I think the aggressive playstyle from Volga, as we saw straight away, hasn't quite worked off yet. I'm sure he would love to have a few more stages done. He's got sloppy bullets he's going as well. He wants to get a few more injured stages on it, but luckily for him, he finds Ace straight away, and this could be an early down, which would be great from the aggression we're seeing from Volga. He's playing the M1 killer around the pallet. He spots out Kate there, who's ready for a pallet save. Oh, is Renato? I'd wonder if there was Kate there as well. Renato takes the vault round towards Shaq. I don't think he can save the pick just yet, because he's got a lot of survivors around him. Yes, here is Kate, round and dodges the camera just in the nick of time. What you're saying, these survivors are well drilled against Singularity, but she doesn't spot that one. He does it and immediately depletes it, which is nice, like kind of camera control from Volga.
Yeah, the survivors are doing a very good job at dodging out on line of sight. They're very attentive to it, but these are not very safe pallets, and Singularity is good at chewing through them. Whether you get the pallet break we see here, whether you teleport over the pallet, you're going to chew through pallets. As now the Kate is going to accept the pull out of the locker to force the grab, so that they will pop a gem behind the Gallows in the meantime. As the survivors doing a pretty good job at recovering from the pressure that Singularity had early on, and now there might be a pain resonance coming on this hook, but is that going to interrupt a generator that's crucial, as it will hit the main building generator instead, I believe, which is, a little bit easier for Singularity to contest than some killers, but without as much camera presence on the map, Volga has to do a little bit more to try and patrol these gens manually.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much gen progress there will be around the map. I mean, we saw a pretty aggressive start from Volga. A lot of survivors in and around to try and kind of save Abby as she went down onto the pallet. But Volga, again, seems to have a bit of a thing for Abby, as he's tunneled her out of the last set we watched, and now he's kind of patrolling her again. And he's going to be looking just to get a few more camera placements, and I think he's slowing the pace of things down again. He knows he only needs 7 stages to win this for his team, so he's just going to slow things right down. He's got his first chase. It wasn't as long as the Arushu one we saw, and he's just going to settle down, watch the cameras, and let the game unfold.
This is one of the interesting things about Singularity is you
can defend. Sorry, I had to interrupt you there.
She can. It's against the rules.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No. Not even the new anti-camp mechanic is allowed. But we can see Singularity can just sit in front of the hook, use the cameras to try and pressure the map. But because you don't have camera coverage on those 2 generators off towards the water tower area, survivors are free to work those in peace. They're not worrying about the slipstream coming in. They're not worrying about Singularity teleporting to them. So Volga will secure the 2nd stage onto Kate, possibly even a death. But the survivors are able to get some pretty good gen progress for this, as we see 1 gen popping in the distance, and we should expect there's 1 or 2 more gens that have very high progress. And having 1 gen left to go, possibly with 4 more stages to take, is not a great situation, as the 1 healthy survivor goes to goal, but the whiff onto Jukebox, and that will be enough to get Jukebox into a position to take chase around main building.
Yeah, Volga has to be careful now. He's making a lot of mistakes and letting survivors get away with a lot. Didn't confirm his first chase early on. Didn't manage to get a lot of hits onto different survivors with his cameras. Now whiffs that onto Jukebox. A big mistake, and he Ducky now with the camera. He needs to start piling on his stages. He's only got 2 for 2 gens, and as he was saying, there are going to be lots of gens around the map with a lot of progression on. He spent a lot of time next to Abby, and remember, folks at home, when you can put a person on the hook, especially against a good team, the great survivors are going to be plowing through gens, so he's got to be very careful here. Ducky gets the pallet stage. He's away with Slipstream. The pallet breaks, but Ducky's got some decent distance. Now playing the next pallet. It gets broken very quickly thanks to the Slipstream from Volga. Going around the small pallet. If he's learned anything from Marushi last game, these small pallets mean nothing. Does Renato have the distance? I don't think so. Yes, he does. He has the distance to make it into Shaq. Drops the pallet, which gets instantly broken, but it applies slowdown to Volga, who's now plowing through all these pallets. They're breaking left, right, center. The gen on top of the gallows gets done. A crucial gen, and Ducky is still in chase, going through another pallet. He's looking for one more. He's on a pallet bulldoze mission at the moment. Is Ducky breaking everyone for Volga, who is chomping through them. Eventually gets Ducky down, but oh my goodness, that was such a long chase.
And Ducky is free to take chase on this side of the map, away from all the generators. He can just throw every pallet, don't need to care. The survivors have no reason to be here other than finding a good place to die, which is exactly what Ducky does. Now you see 2 survivors doubling the main building generator, and the camera tags can come in on them, but it's so slow to actually go from, you know, not slipstream at all to slipstream into the teleport. So the survivors have able to get a good amount of progress here, and it looks like one of the things that we saw in the previous game was you can get a pod through the cracks in that main building's fence, or the balcony rather, but it looks like you can't do it with the biopod that you shoot manually. So Volga is being required to use the camera to hit them, as the survivors are doing a good job, like, once again, of playing around the fact they can get tagged by that camera, not giving them the teleport they don't need to, as I cast her Curse Abby.
Yeah, but I mean, a little bit of a curse though, because Volga took a while to spot Abby on that gen, got a lot of progress as he was dancing around the main building, and I want to reiterate, that chase from Ducky could be a tournament-saving chase for Misery. They almost looked out of it with a poor performance on their killer side, but that chase from Ducky is everything they needed. Abby now goes down next to the window, but that's okay, she's already got 2 stages on her. It's not going to be the worst thing in the world, because I imagine we're going to have a couple of gens popping. There's one, the next one should be close. The pain res, it won't be a pain res, because she's already been hooked. Apply to forehead, heading to that gen. He doesn't want to risk it. They might have to reset before they finish that final gen. No, they're going straight for it. The EMP comes in. They deny the teleportation. They're going to get this gen done, maybe in the nick of time, and they could still save this.
And crucially, with 2 survivors still fresh, the win condition is 7 stages. And so, with that last gen popping, Volga's going to have to basically find a way to down 2 survivors, and also secure them from being saved by the 3rd remaining survivor. This is going to require some major mistakes from the survivors here, as ideally you do want Ducky to be the one to take the down here, to buy time for his teammates to just get the gates and get out, as Jukebox is not an ideal target. But if Jukebox is the only down that comes through here, if Ace and Renato are able to get out without getting hooked, that is still a win for Misery.
No, it's going to be a tie, right? Because that's 6 stages.
Or tie, rather, yeah.
It's going to be a 6-stage tie. But here's the thing, does Ducky come back in to take a hit? He does! He takes it down because he's only got 2 stages left on him. It's not enough for Volga to do it. He needs to try and get Jukebox before they get to the line. But no, Jukebox gets out, and Misery, with a monumental clutch, with only 6 stages on their killer side, leave Volga with only 5 stages. He made 1 mistake too many, and we are going to a Nemesis game.
It'll be 6 stages for Volga as well, but only 2 fresh to the 3 fresh that Jukebox got. So it is in fact a win for Misery here. But yeah, we're seeing the comfort this team has on playing Singularity and playing against Singularity. So we will be seeing a Nemesis game on Blood Lodge after this is over.
Yeah, you're right. I got carried away there. I knew like 3 survivors had to be hooked. You're right. It is still 6 stages, but it's not 3 fresh hooks, which is the crucial difference. So it is. We are going all the way to Nemesis, and we're going to go all the way over to Blood Lodge for that, as you just mentioned. I can't believe that. I lost my words there in all the excitement, but no, you're right. It is 3 fresh hook stages, which gives Team Misery the victory. We're going to head over to Nemesis after a quick break. Don't go anywhere, guys. This has just been heating up.
Balumba enjoyers rejoice. We have the first Nemesis set we've seen in a long time. Starting on Blood Lodge, Volga coming back with a vengeance, punching through that door. He is not playing around as he looks for
his hands
survivors.
bleeding, mate. That must have hurt. He's absolutely walloped that door, and I understand why, because this is going to be one rough map for Nemesis. I cannot see him getting a lot of stages.
The zombie gets smacked down in the distance. I love how you can see Laura as the chase is coming in the jukebox. First tag on that whip coming in super quickly. This is going to be so important. He needs one more tag with that whip onto a survivor to be able to start shredding through his pals. And he does see someone. It's a 4-lane tile. This could be a quick tier 2 for the Nemesis, but Ace not playing around, throwing that pallet quickly, going to put enough distance between himself and the Nemesis, but it will not be enough as the second hit comes in. That's going to be tier 2 as the chase comes into Ace at the main building, but with that door being broken, it's not as strong as it could be. Possibly Ace has live to try and get some distance here.
Yeah, with the increased range on the whip as well, it's going to be helpful, but a great juke from Apply to Forehead, taking Jukebox's role, and gets away from main building, makes it all the way over to the tracker. Nemesis able to do nothing with the whip, couldn't be patient enough to wait for Ace to go through the window and secure the whip that way.
Yeah, the difficult part of this map for killers is just how many pals there seem to be everywhere, how much environmental clutter, but now with Nemesis having that whip coming in tier 2, being able to basically play the same kinds of mind games as the Xenomorph has, we were seeing, except this time, even if you miss the attack, you can just break the pallet straight away as Apply to Forehead just dropping everything, trying to prolong this first phase as much as possible. It already uses exhaustion, but should not be able. Oh, with the enemy's necessary fake!
What a take, that would have been phenomenal if that baited Volga. That would have been one of the techs of the century. But no, Volga learned the patience from the main building interaction and stuns the killer. And Abby now with a flashlight is going to deplete it all on that zombie, I'm assuming, given that only 50% of the way through their generator.
Yeah, and we're seeing the survivors having a better time bullying the zombies than bullying the killer with those flashlights, with those flashbangs, with the pallet stuns, as Volga's playing around survivors' resources quite well, and we see one gen popping the distance for this first chase, and another one very close to being done. We are also seeing that Volga is not bringing a whole lot in way of generator regression, only the pain resonance, so indexing on that agitation, indexing on Noed for the late game, as now we see another chase onto Renato at the top side of the map, and there's a zombie here to help him out, but Renato's going to run straight past him, and it looks like the zombie's not going to be able to zone Renato into the pallet very well as the pallet then comes in, and that will be enough to get Renato distance with the smash hit. Survivors using their exhaustions very well, but now Ducky is taking chase even closer to the hook as he will correct course with the main building, but with the chase being brought in this direction, now it's possible for Nemesis to turn and go back for the tunnel out onto Apply to Forehead, as it looks like he will.
Yeah, I think he wants to tunnel out here, wants to get his stages onto Ace, and then maybe look for another survivor in endgame. As we said, this is going to be a very rough map for Nemesis, so if he can get Ace down quick enough, he'll be happy with that one. Life means he crawls a little bit faster on the ground, not what Ace was looking for. A hit onto Jukebox as well is going to be good stuff for our Nemesis, and he's actually going to get greedy. He's going to go for this, maybe, we know DS isn't going to be in play because Nemesis is a tier 3 killer, so he can't be afraid of that. Balance standing is going to send Jukebox away, and I'm so surprised he's not going for the tunnel out onto Ace here, maybe thinking that with only 2 gens done, he can get a full set onto Jukebox and get another survivor in endgame. We see he's got the depleted ink as well, which is zombies respawning in the exit gates for endgame. So maybe this is what we kind of thinking about the late stages of this game.
Yeah, it's very possible that he's also going for an extra pain resonance, trying to get some more pressure coming in, or, you know, just getting the scoring from the fresh hooks. As that seems to be the justification here, but we're going to see another gen popping forward as both zombies coming to give Ducky some company on this generator, you know. No proof that's still value for those, but Ducky will be able to run off as a pain resonance comes in, but will it be enough to actually interrupt the thing, as Ace is picking up some of the pallets that he dropped in that first chase, as it looks like there is not too much active generator progress, only the one that popped, and now Nemesis is going to have eyes on someone relatively quickly, and it will be Ducky.
Yeah, I think it's really good decision making actually there from Volga. He's going to force me to eat my words, as I often do as a caster here on DBDLeague. Amazing decision making from Volga. He went for the chase all the way across the stage to get the pain resonance, knowing that there weren't too many progressed in the background, and gets a very quick chase onto Ducky. His whips have been phenomenal this game. Volga showing Nemesis can be one of the strongest killers if you just get your timings right, if you get your tier 3 ready, and we're going to be looking at a lot of stages this game, alright.
and this is going to be another pain resonance coming out. Seeing the agitation value as now Ducky is going onto a hill. It's going to be not only difficult to try and approach, but there is kind of a 3-gen around it, actually, possibly even a 4-gen. Yeah, with the hill gen, with the main building gen, and 2 off in these topside corners. You know, Nemesis doesn't have that much map mobility, but he's got good line of sight. He's got at least 1 zombie kind of loosely patrolling the area, and he's got a tier 3, and we're seeing in that last chase just how strong the tier 3 is. You can drop a pallet, though you will just get hit for it anyway. You really have to choose wisely. It's now tag coming onto Abby. It is still 3 health states for the whip if you are not already infected, but now every survivor is infected, and Volga's able to just sit here and try and secure a kill onto Ducky on this hill.
Yeah, the 3-gen kind of spread he's got is really powerful. He's only got Pain Rest to help him with it, but he's got his zombies patrolling, and that means for the end game, if, you know, once he gets a few more stages, which I'm sure he'll get out of this type generator situation, he's going to have no end for the end game, which will be massive. I'm sure we'll see that later in, but for now, he's heading towards these other generators, wants to secure second stage now onto Ducky, make sure the entity comes in, doesn't want another survivor sneaking in, and by patrolling it, he's going to be forced to check out this gen.
And we do see at least 1 survivor working on the gen over here, and she's gonna run off into the corner, and Volga content to make sure that you know, that gen's not progress enough to be super worried about it, just making sure no one comes up this hill, and the survivors are, you know, wasting a little bit of time trying to get in position for the gen, get in position for the pull, and Volga's able to just push them off enough that they're not accomplishing anything without really committing to anything to leave them open for other options.
Yeah, and I think he's deciding he wants the full kill onto Ducky. He's not going to let them sneak in for this one. He spots a lurking Zarina. Jukebox is going to have to juke the whip, and she does it well. She makes it round the other side, which means she can go in for the trade. The whip comes in, but it's not going to be enough to stop the trade. She goes down straight away. The whip comes in, and there's nothing he can do. Volga forced to pick up Jukebox and put her back on the hill, and that scuppered his game plan just a little bit. But I think he's heading towards the corner. He's going for a pain res. Abby is there, doesn't want to take a body block. He's got agitation, which would have been called out. He is going to get this pain res, and crucially interrupts the gen Abby was working on.
There's already a pain resonance used on this arena, I think, but the reason here is he knows that this is the gen that has the most progress done, and it's in the furthest corner of the map. It is so much harder for survivors to get in and get out of there, and on top of that, it's disrupting them from getting that generator done. So all of the progress that they got on that gen while Ducky was on hook is for naught, as we see this gen by this exit get almost popped, and as well as the one in the main building. So survivors looks like they will be able to pop all of the remaining gens, and the question is how many hook states are they going to give for it, as Volga is going for a chase onto Ducky off in the distance, knowing Ducky is the one survivor on Death Hook, possibly able to secure the kill onto Ducky, and then go for a no-ed down in the end game, as these gates that are going to be powered relatively quickly are relatively far away, as Ducky is able to dodge the whip hit on that. But
and he lost him.
Doing?
Looking quiet, he lost him, and Ducky gets away a little bit, and I can't help but thinking this may be another little misplay coming out of Volga, because if he doesn't get this before the final gen does, he's not going to get a lot of stages out of these survivors. But nonetheless, it's been a great performance from Volga. Ace now here to take the hit. They're not going to pop that final gen until someone goes down. Don't want Ace taking a no-hit in the face. I'm sure they're expecting it on Nemesis. There we go. Once Renata gets down and Ace is out of the picture, they're going to pop that final gen. Ducky now gets put on the hook, and crucially, can Volga find Abby, or can he find Apply to Forehead? 1 stage left on Jukebox, 2 on Ace, 3 on Abby. Those are the points he's looking for.
It's very possible that Ace was trying to take a hit with an adrenaline play, but if that's the case, yes. So he does not have his exhaustion. No lives coming in because the adrenaline procced, and now Ace is the worst survivor to be found here aside from Abby, and this is going to be most likely a basement hook onto Ace by a gate. There is 0 chance they can secure him, but Volga's going to greed and go for more, knowing there's no unbreakable in play, and he's got eyes on a survivor over here going for that gate. So it should be Zarina. Kate should be stealthing somewhere, and now the down goes onto Zarina as well.
Can he find Abby? Can a zombie kind of stretch out their arms and let him know where Abby is? This could be massive. A 4K on Nemesis, almost unheard of. No, right to forehead gets picked up next to Shaq, and I don't know how much progress Adore will have on it. None by the looks of it. No, 2.5 lights. It's almost done. He's got the down on the Jukebox. Now he's looking for Abby. He knows there's 3 stages on her. The vault tells him exactly where she is. Apply to forehead. No vaccine on him, so he's got to punch him. He goes down. Now Abby will be sprinting to the other side of the map to try and pick up Jukebox. This is going to be so tense.
Yeah, this is a little greedy, I think. I don't know if Volga would be able to if Kate will be able to stealth away in time, if Volga should have a pretty good line of sight on her, and yeah, he should see Kate here. But it looks like he's going to contend for the down on Zarina, as now we're in this cycle where Abby's going to be able to go pick up Duck or Apply, but forcing the locker grab.
Yeah. Forcing the pick is massive here. Agitation's going to help him a little bit, but I don't know if he's going to get there in time. Abby had a big head start, but remember, that gate wasn't properly 99. Jukebox goes down. That's one survivor eliminated. Apply to forehead gets picked up. He was 99. No, it is in play. Will Ace try and take a hit? No, that gate is simply not far enough progressed. Ace just about dodges death through shack window, and now Abby's going to run for their lives. No, they get down through it, and now he's just going to find Ace, and this could be all over. Volga with a massive play for Team Eonix.
Yeah, this is, I think, honestly, the survivor is getting a little bit too greedy. Kate had the opportunity to get out, possibly trying to open the gate and have Zarina crawl to it, but yeah, this should be a 4K, unless Abby is able to crawl to the hatch before Ace goes down, but Volga can just go back because none of the gates are open. This should be...
Well, actually, I can see on that other door, I think only 2 lights were done, so I don't think Kate could have opened it for her. It's, I think the survivors were just kind of checkmated by Volga, who did really well to catch them. I guess all they could have done is last a bit longer in chase. But against Tier 3 with Nemesis, with confident speed from Noen, it's almost impossible that Volga has just simply outplayed these survivors. And as long as Abby doesn't get this hatch, which Volga almost gives up for free, he's going to get his final hook, and it is a 4K. Yes, the survivors competed 5 generators, but I want to reiterate, it's a 4K on Nemesis with Blood Lodge.
And this gives us a very clear win condition going into the next game. All you have to do, get one survivor out, even if they have 1 hook stage left, that's all it takes.
And for our killer, if he can prevent them from doing 5 generators, if he can, if just 4 generators get completed and he kills them before that, then it's going to be a win for Misery. But Eonix well in the driving seat for this. We're going to wrap things up for this game, head into the next one, 4K12. No generators remaining, but it's a 4K Nemesis on Blood Lodge. We'll catch you right after a little break, or once you can check out the perks and scoreboard. We're back, ladies and gentlemen, in the tiebreaker set with a missed play from Eonix bringing in the wrong perk. I misspoke just before we went to that break. No controversy there, just simple, non-rule abiding survivors bringing in a banned perk against Ducky, which means crucially he gets another crack at it because that last game was slipping away from him. But now, if he gets a 4K, he's going to win it. Anything less and it's still Eonix's game.
And crucially, the penalty means that a tie is now a loss for Eonix, right?
Yeah.
So they have to get an out in order to not lose. So we will see another chase onto Jeff here in the top side. He does get the fun bust, and it looks like he gets the strong fun bust. So we'll see if he's able to delay the Nemesis from clearing up like he did in the last game. That is a much faster whip. And ideally, Ducky should be able to find a different survivor to tag with that whip and get his tier 2 as quickly as possible. We see a zombie aggroed onto the Jeff again, so that's not ideal, but we do want to be able to see Ducky able to get his tier ups and be able to shred through these pallets for the shorter chases.
Yeah, that zombie was actually a lot of info. I think Ducky was kind of heading away from the loop, but the zombie let him know exactly where Swatter is, who gets caught off guard too deep in the check spot. Is he going to go for the whip? No, he goes for the punch, knowing he's got the distance. Swatter goes down outside the pallet. It's a confident pick for Nemesis, and that's a much better start. A quicker chase, a whip as well. This is great for Ducky, and have Eonix given Team Misery a way back into this.
And the survivors do have good gen progress, but the pain resonance coming in will interrupt one of them, as it appears to be a little bit of a spectator bug with Nemesis being frozen in front of the hook, but he most likely is not, as we see him coming off in the distance, as 3 gens have good progress on them, except for the one hit by pain resonance, of course. And we do have a zombie aggroed onto Yoichi, who appears he might be positioning either for this gen or for the hook, as we will see that the hook is positioned kind of in between these 2 gens of progress, and that means that Ducky can pressure the hook as well as pressuring these 2 gens. If the survivors get too comfortable trying to work on those gens again, they might take a tag for it.
Yeah, and if they take a tag for a whip, he's going to go straight up into tier 2. It's something survivors do not want to blunder, but it looked like Yoichi was gone too far. No, Ducky turns away, and I wonder if he would could have got that hit in there. No, he just wants to protect this hook, and he wants to secure second stage, which is interesting given that no one else is infected, so it's going to be hard for him to deny a trade, but he's going to set up the body blocks, which means another survivor has to get in, but Nia slips through the cracks. She gets punched. He's going to get hit once again, and I'm sure he's going to try and get his whip onto Jeff. No, he goes straight back for the hook onto Arushi, but crucially, Cole, this is a much better start for Ducky.
Not only that, Jeff able to speed away with Sprint Burst, but that is a Pain Resonance hook, so every 1-for-1 is just recycling that Pain Resonance in, delaying the gens, and yes, the survivors are able to get gen progress possibly elsewhere, but these other generators they were working on at the beginning of the game are ticking down, and if either the Pain Res is eating away at them too, or the Pain Res is interrupting the gens and trying to do in the distance, so this position of the hook is coming in really clutch for Ducky, as now cases are coming in, and Huntskeeper doing a good job of using this rock to avoid the Nemesis hit, but will he be able to avoid the... He actually plays that very well, and now he gets the live distance, but he's kind of cornered here, and will he be able to get to anything safer? It looks like he is not. There are no pallets around, so this should be at least an M1 tag onto the Ace, or to the immediate health state instead of the whip. Ace does have Lucky Break, but Nemesis is going to drop chase and go back to try and secure these gens he was guarding a little bit earlier.
Yeah, he had a really good position earlier, and I think he wants to protect it just a little bit more, which is why we saw him get the M1 on Ace and not going for the whip. He gets surprised, jump scared by Arushi, who stuns the panel on him. That's pretty good work there from Arushi. Remember, every little detail matters because Nemesis is a tough killer. Ducky needs a near perfect game to get his 4K, to get the team win for Misery. And Eonix slowly coming back into this one, but Ducky has found a survivor. It's Arushi, and he's hunting her down. He still doesn't have his tier 2 whip.
And Nemesis being this tall makes it very easy to see him, at these tiles, even if you're not, on these fillers. And Arushi playing it perfectly, getting the stun, dodging the hit, and now being able to get back to this tile. Still a tile here, and another stun through the hit with a bit of a teabag, as Arushi's going to stay on the tile, get the firecracker going off. It is not a blind. I feel like Arushi's a little bit lost in the sauce. Dodges out on that hit. A little ambitious from Ducky, as now Arushi can go back to playing this pallet, which is, reasonably safe, but there might be a hit take coming in from the Jeff. Yeah, looks like there will be, but the whip can still go over survivors as Jeff takes the hit with the whip instead. Not going to go for a third stun. Ducky learned his lesson, and this is not a very safe tile to be on, but Arushi dodges the whip on a split second, then gets the pallet drop. The pallet could be broken with the Nemesis whip, but Arushi will just run the main, and so Jeff can take another hit.
Yeah, Arushi taking another fantastic chase, and I can't help but feel Ducky was getting a little bit too aggressive with those swings. Some greedy swings through pallets, and it is almost costed him the game and costed Team Misery their chance to win this entire tournament. They might be sent barreling out as he can't get the whip onto Swatter. Nemesis, notorious for not doing well over those elevated windows. You know what it's like on the Grim Pantry, and Swatter doesn't fall back into the Nemesis. Keeps his discipline as another gen pops, and now things are looking from bad to worse for Team Misery. Ducky has got to find something phenomenal, but Swatter is taking the chase of his life. He goes back through the window, dodges the whip once again, and Ducky cannot close this one out.
This tile is so gross, man. And yeah, with one gen left to go and only 2 hook stages, I don't think there's a way that even, a fat no-ed plays can recover this game. As we see the survivors doubling the main building generator, there's probably also an adrenaline on one of these, but it doesn't matter, with no-ed coming in, their extra health state isn't going to help them too much, as now we have Jeff hooked on the far away corner. We do have one survivor sort of stealthing by a gate. Looks like he might be able to go for the pole if Nemesis goes to pressure the main building gen, or if they decide to give Jeff's life up, they can go for that gate. As it looks like Ducky will decide, you know what, I do have to greed, I do have to try and get some no-head down, as the pole will come onto Jeff from Yoichi, and the blind, trying to prevent Ducky from going for Yoichi, but Ducky will decide to go for the down on Jeff anyway, but he still has that base kit BT, so he's going to go back to that fun bus style he was running before, as now Yoichi's in the line of fire, but we have those other two, wow, okay, that is a questionable ping there, as Yoichi manages to dodge the fist and get the pallet stun down, as we have the gate popping in the distance. Both are over to exit, and that's all they need to secure the win over Misery. That will be the end of Misery's lower bracket run, and we will be seeing Eonix going forward.
Yeah, with the survivor escaping there, Eonix, despite having a little penalty, despite having to slip up and giving Ducky a second crack at things. See that zombie stuck on the hill there? It's not going to be enough for Team Misery. They are sent out of the tournament, eliminated by a very, very solid Eonix. Arushi taking 2 massive chases to help his team clinch it 2-2. 2-1. Fantastic showing. And that is not all, folks. We've got 2 more games coming up later. 2 more games,
Yeah.
1 more game between
Yeah,
2
could be
teams.
one more match. We got one
2
more
teams,
match.
1 game.
We got a replay of these same sets with 2 new teams. It will be Koloki versus Daytona. Now Yoichi fighting for his life, but there is a zombie kind of chilling behind this tile, so it's quite possible that Yoichi might take a zombie down here as Ducky can tend to zone him towards the zombie. Come on, man, let the zombie get its work in. Oh, dodging out on both the zombie and the whip, as that will reset zombie aggro, but Ducky playing with his food a little bit, as there should be no shot Yoichi gets out of here, as the zombie will take the M2 tag, but Yoichi's not able to really get anywhere with that. That gate's not open. Yoichi's got nowhere to go, but he is just running, you know, just for the practice. Why not? Ducky waits it out, goes for the punch.
It was a pretty impressive spin on that zombie, actually. I was quite impressed with that. I gave him a round of applause at home. And going back to that tile there, I want to reiterate the point there. I think the reason that Ducky didn't get the swings is because he swung very early to try and body block it, but that meant like the kind of attack frames from the punch had ran out, which means the hit wouldn't register onto Kenny, and because he was kind of next to the pallet anyway, it's basically stunning him on the same side. He's able to space him, get the stun onto him, which is why we saw that, but we know ping can often be a factor in
It looked like Yoichi just kind of... It looked like Yoichi almost just phased through his body, like...
I know, but...
Yoichi playing the nurse.
I wouldn't I wouldn't have expected that hit to come through because he swung incredibly early. It was almost a sick lead, but again, a desperate swing, which we saw quite a lot from Ducky. We saw that on the ace, he whiffed the M1, which allowed him to get to the unique TNL, and then some wild swings against Rushi, which I'm not going to say cost him wins. It was a very tough win condition to play for, but definitely didn't help in adding pressure to the survivors who may have already been feeling it from that penalty. But that is it for Eonix versus Misery. Eonix taking it 2-1 over Misery thanks to the Nemesis set.